Hello YouTubes, I got a wee bit sidetracked there with all these lovely new trains that people were sending me. So today we need to get back on track and lay the rest of my track on my new layout with this lovely flex track. Before we get started, huge thank you to Joe, Michael and Peter Webster who donated quite a lot of the hard-earned cash on last week's live stream and during the week in Super Chats, which allowed me to get this lovely new flex track. Also, Maxorus, who also gave me a pile of Code 100 flex track, which I'll be using in the Sidings. Now, I nipped down to my local hobby store, and Robin, the owner, decided I was now entitled to a regular customer discount. That's not a good sign. Well, maybe it is. It's good for them. So, not only did I get the money for the flex track from you guys, but I got it at a cheaper rate as well. Right, let me give you a quick update of the state of play and we'll get stuck in. So my bridge is done and still working fine, happy with that. This section of track, done, that'll be a town. This section here, done except for this bit. And I think I'm going to go for a couple of offshoots from the freight line. So this will hopefully come out here and then split off, and then I'll have two nice little lines coming along here and some sort of industry or retail or whatever, some sort of pick-up drop-off zone here. This section here I will probably throw in another siding for what do you call it, a sort of drive-by, so there'll be a line of track all the way along here, and I'll probably use my Code 100 for this. So let's see, I can have maybe 1.5 sections of flex track and then it will join back on here. I think that's all I need, to be honest. I don't want tons of static trains sitting on the track. So one line there. And that's pretty much all I'll be doing with this line. That goes round there and back on to the main loop. So back round to this section. Now, I'm going to do a slight change here. I always plan to have a station at a platform at that side with a bridge or subway going underneath. This centre line will be a sort of express line and it cuts off here to the other side of the station and there'll be a platform here. However, I decided that this section from here to where it joins back onto the line isn't big enough. It's only big enough for, let's see, you've got one loco there, passenger coach, passenger coach, passenger coach. That's only 3. That's not really enough. So what I think I'll do, I'm going to remove this turnout, continue the station line all the way around here, and it'll rejoin back there. And that will be plenty for a nice long passenger train to either set up or stop or whatever. Platform at the other side can stop a bit there. So not too much work to do there. Need to add a bit more cork around here and get the track on. That'll be that done. And also, this is my other turnout going towards the other staging area, which will go around here and it rejoins back over there next to my PC, which is going to be quite handy to throw some trains on. And the only other piece of track that I want to do is this little section here, which is going to be my programming track. And I think what I'll do is once I get that down in a video in a couple of days, I think I will do my first scenic area and practice all my new techniques just in this one little strip for the programming section of track. So that's the plan. So let's start with getting the cork cut to shape and glued down, because we know that takes a while to dry, but there's other things we can be doing while that is sticking and bonding. Okay, let's go. Right, that's most of my cork track bed down. Still kind of undecided what I'm doing with that section over there. I might just do one extra line. I do need to get 2 more turnouts, unfortunately, so I need to nip round to my favourite hobby store. See you soon, Robin. And we'll come back when this glue is all dried and we can start putting some track down. I have returned from the hobby store. Good news, bad news. Bad news is I'm going to have to rip up that cork that I just put down. The good news is I got these instead of the regular turnouts, and they were cheaper than the regular turnouts, which is quite epic because they're twice the size. So let me show you the updated plan. So I had planned to put in an Atlas number 4 turnout round about there to come off this line and go into this siding. And I was never really keen on that because it does that sort of squiggly thing, which, you know, it causes derailments, as you know. So instead of that, we're going to use one of these, and it will start about there, and it will gradually come round, and we'll have 2 tracks side by side, and the same obviously on the other side. It also means that instead of veering off here, I now have this much extra space as well on the siding. In fact, technically, no. From there to there, extra space, all the way around, nice and smooth. So I need to, hopefully this glue hasn't completely set, because I need to straighten this out. Ah, that's perfect. Take that off. Same at the other side. I think I've got a little angled bit, and basically just bring this round and gradually bring it in. So let me quickly do that and get these weights back down, let that dry. We do have other things we can be moving on with though. Let's get our command station siding track section installed. I just made that up. So this will be an isolated section because I still want to be able to run DC, which means I can switch this section off and leave trains there without them firing round while DC is activated. So that'll be isolated, the other end will be isolated. I'll drop in some power down there. So I need at least 2 sections of flex track. So I'm going to join these together because the first join is probably going to be in a bend, and it's nice to have nice straight joins with flexi track. So stick them together. I'm going to have to cut off some ties, and then the final section I will install at that side of the track. First thing I need to do then, cut off some sleepers, leave room for my little connectors. Oh no, not these connectors. This side will be going on the isolated connectors, but they do need to be even because it's going to be a straight fit. The other side though, I'm going to have to take it over to the track and mark where I'm going to cut a little section of the inside rail, I believe it's going to be. So I'm going to cut that much off. Bear in mind, I can always add these sleepers back underneath the track. That looks fairly straight. So let me take this over to the track, do a little squiggle because it's going to have to be straight at that point and bend round like that a little bit, which means that side is going to be like that. As you can see, I'll need to just trim that off and then cut some more sleepers, solder on a straight line to this one, and then obviously more trimming at the other side. Don't worry, it'll make sense when I get there. Back in a sec. So I've established I need to cut off that much of track, and I think just 1 sleeper this time. Like so. Let me get my heavy duty wire cutters. Why give yourself extra work? Now I'm having to curve this round to force that wire out. I mean rail, not wire. Trim that. Need to clean that up a bit. Looks good. So this side is going to get attached to this side. So let's cut off another sleeper Again, I think just one. It's only just at the curve, so it's not going to require a lot of moving about. See, the problem is, once you solder your rails together with a connector, you're very limited to how much these are going to move in and out, because if that goes in too far that way and it's soldered to a rail joiner, it's not going to be able to go in the way without fouling the sleeper. So that is why I've cut it like that even before I solder it, okay? So these will be getting soldered straight because I've already taken into account how much track is going to get used up in the bend. So let me join these two together as straight as possible. Making sure they're both swiveling on the inside. See how there's gaps on that side, but there's not gaps on that side. I like to have the gaps on the inside of the track, namely this side, or the inside of the curve, right? Oh, behave. What I've noticed, sometimes you have to just trim off the ends of these connectors just to save it fouling your next sleeper. But if you go too close, you end up squishing your connector, so don't do that either. But even just taking off a few mil at each end gives you a lot more space. Okay, hopefully it will behave now. It's worth taking your time to get this spot on, because once it's soldered, it's going to be a lot harder. Okay, that looks pretty good there. Let's get some flux on here. That's rather a lot of flux. I'll wipe some off, don't worry. And it goes without saying, we're only going to be soldering on the outside of the rails, otherwise you're going to foul your tracks, right? One side done. Looks good. However, looks can be deceiving. Okay, we're connected. Give the rails a quick clean, make sure I don't have any solder on the top. Lovely. Well, I can't even see the join on that side, like the join of the rails. I can see a slight gap there, but that's because I just I ground down the edge to get rid of that wee rough bit. That's the only reason you can see a gap there. Can't see a gap there at all, which is nice. So obviously when I've got all my track down, I will be grinding these down a little bit, and they can slide underneath like we were never there, but that's a job for another day. Right, let's get this first gigantic bit of track laid. So because I have pre-cut the rail, I should be able to get this on straight, and the join where I soldered should also be equal. At least that was the plan. Come on. And then you pop. There we go. Make sure that is as far up as it wants to go. And as straight as possible, which is there, I believe. sure you guys will correct me because you've got a better view than I do. And here's something I forgot to do. I forgot to drill out the little holes at the back for the nails. So I need to go and change over my little grindy thing over to a tiny little drill bit, and I'll come back when I've drilled all the holes I need, because I'm going to need some extra ones at that end. Might as well get that one in while we're here. My plan for the moment is to just pin everything down till I'm 100% happy with everything, and then at that point I can either take it off and put some glue underneath or just ballast it over the top, and the glue through the ballast would keep it in place anyway. Right, let me go and drill some holes. Back in a sec. And we're back with holes. Right. It's very easy to mess up these little insulators. The lower section of the plastic likes to, you know, fold up and cause you grief, like this one is just done. So I think I might need to go and, oh no, we're good, we're good. I was going to have to go and spend another $1 on a stupid insulator, because nothing is cheap in this game, as you know. What do you think? Does that look straight? I'm very jealous of your better view that you've got over there, but I think that looks straight to me. Or is that straighter? I think that's straighter, right? Don't worry, I'll come back for that one later with a magnet. Right, let me work my way around. There's the next hole. It is there. And I'll see you at the other side. Now I just have the final piece to trim down and add one final section up to here. I didn't really want to... Where's my Sharpie? Oh, it's away over there. Back in a second. Okay, I didn't really want to solder every join on this section of flex track. However, we're on a bend here, and I really would like it to not be kinky. So let's trim that, cut off another tie, prepare another section, and then we can finally lay our first full siding. Back in a bit. Isn't it amazing how much chaos you can create just putting in one section of track? Okay, this section of track is in. And as you possibly saw, I added a couple of feeder wires. But because I'm isolating this section, I've got one wire going from, forget these wires, one side of the track is going straight to one of the two bus wires under there. And the other one is coming from here. It's basically, that would be one wire going from a rail to the power, but I've cut it in half. So now I've got two wires coming. So one is going, or coming from the power, one is going to the rail, and we're going to intercept it with a simple switch, on-off switch. So I've drilled a hole there, had to make a whole new board because that was my DC or DCC board, which was that size, that was too small. So I made another board, that'll pop through there, connect those two wires, and that'll be a power on or power off isolated section of siding. With a bit of luck, back in a sec. Right, we have a test subject on the track and we're going to go with DC. Don't want to fry a DCC decoder. I don't know which way is on for this switch, unfortunately. I won't know until it's on the track. So switch is in the right direction. Let's see if it makes it round this brand new siding or if it just stops. Oh, looks like we'll get power. So if I flick this switch, it should go off. And it does. Excellent. Bring you back. Wonderful. First of many sidings is complete. Unfortunately, I can't lay any more track till all my glue is set under the track bed. So I'm just going to tidy up. I've got a few other things I can be doing. I've got two locomotives I need to tune up, and I've also got a little steam engine I need to remove the decoder from. Thank you all for watching, and obviously thank you very much for my flex track. Very much appreciated. See you soon. Bye for now.